What Aquarius thinks is weird versus what's actually your gift. Every single trait you have been told is strange, every habit people raised an eyebrow at, every instinct you followed that made others uncomfortable. What if none of that was ever a flaw? What if the very things you have spent years trying to hide, soften, or apologize for are actually the most powerful tools you carry? This is not just another zodiac reading. This is a mirror. And by the end of this, you are going to see yourself in a way that might finally make sense of a lifetime of feeling like you were born on the wrong planet. If you were born under the sign of Aquarius, you already know the feeling. That quiet sense that you see things others do not. That pull toward ideas and visions that seem too big, too early, too different. You have been called eccentric. You have been called detached. You have been told you think too much, care too little, or live too far inside your own head. But here is the truth that almost nobody tells you. Those are not weaknesses. Those are signals. They are signs that you carry something rare, something most people cannot access. And the only reason it has ever felt like a burden is because no one ever taught you how to use it. Today that changes. We are going to walk through 10 specific things that Aquarius tends to see as weird, difficult, or broken. And I am going to show you one by one why each of those things is actually a gift. A real, usable, life-changing gift. Stay with me all the way through because the last few will hit the hardest. Tip 1. You think you are too detached, but your emotional distance is actually clarity. Let us start with the one that probably stings the most. You have been told more than once that you are emotionally unavailable, that you do not show enough feeling, that you are hard to read, hard to reach, and sometimes hard to love. And maybe you have started to believe it. Maybe you have looked at the people around you who cry easily, who wear their hearts on their sleeves, who fall apart at the first sign of trouble. And you have wondered what is wrong with you because you do not do that. You feel things. You know you do. But the way you process emotion is different. It is slower. It is quieter. It moves through layers before it ever reaches the surface. And by the time it does, you have already sorted through it, analyzed it, and come to some kind of internal resolution. From the outside, that looks cold. From the inside, it is anything but. Here is what nobody tells you about this trait. That emotional distance you carry is not a wall. It is a lens. It allows you to see situations clearly when everyone else is drowning in reaction. While others are swept away by panic, by anger, by grief that clouds every decision they make. You are standing just far enough back to see the full picture. That is not detachment. That is perspective. And it is one of the rarest abilities a human being can possess. Think about every time someone came to you in crisis. Think about how you were the one who stayed calm, the one who asked the right questions, the one who could see what needed to happen next while everyone else was frozen. That was not because you did not care. That was because your caring operates at a different frequency. You are not wired to react. You are wired to respond. And there is a massive difference between those two things. Reacting is emotional. It is immediate, unfiltered, and often destructive. Responding is intentional. It comes after thought, after assessment, after a moment of internal stillness that most people never learn how to access. You were born with that stillness. It lives inside you like a second heartbeat. And the people who have called you cold for it simply did not understand what they were witnessing. They were watching someone operate from a place of calm authority in a world that rewards chaos. That is not a flaw. That is mastery. And you did not even have to learn it. Came with you. Now, does that mean you never struggle with connection? Of course not. There are moments when you wish you could just let go, just feel without filtering, just fall into emotion the way others seem to. And that longing is real. But it does not mean your way is broken. It means your way is different. And different, for Aquarius, has always been the doorway to something extraordinary. The gift here is not that you are above emotion. The gift is that you are beside it. You walk alongside your feelings instead of being buried under them. And that gives you a kind of emotional intelligence that most people spend decades in therapy trying to develop. You already have it. You just need to stop calling it a problem. The next trait we are going to talk about is one you probably wrestle with every single day. And it has to do with the way your mind never ever stops moving. Tip 2. You think your mind is too restless, but that restlessness is actually innovation. You know that feeling when you wake up at 3 in the morning and your brain is already running? Not with worry necessarily, not with anxiety, just running, jumping from idea to idea, connecting things that have no obvious connection. building entire systems and solutions in the dark while the rest of the world sleeps. You have tried to turn it off. You have tried meditation, routines, breathing exercises, all of it. And maybe some of it helped for a moment, but the engine never really stops. And you have probably wondered if something is wrong with you because of it. Nothing is wrong with you. What you have is an innovative mind that refuses to sit still because it was never designed to. Aquarius carries the energy of the inventor, the visionary, the one who looks at the world and instinctively asks, what if we did this differently? That question is not a symptom of restlessness. It is the signature of a mind that was built to create, to reimagine, to find new paths where everyone else sees dead ends. The reason your brain does not stop is because it is always working on something. Even when you are not aware of it, your subconscious is sorting through problems, testing ideas, pulling pieces from conversations you had weeks ago, and fitting them into frameworks you have not fully built yet. That is not chaos. That is creative processing at a level most people never reach. Think about the ideas you have had over the years, the ones that seemed ridiculous at the time, the ones you mentioned casually to a friend and they looked at you like you had lost your mind. How many of those ideas months or years later turned out to be exactly right? How many times have you watched the world catch up to something you saw long before anyone else did? That is not coincidence. That is what happens when you carry the frequency of innovation. You are not restless because you are broken. You are restless because you are ahead. And the world you live in has not caught up yet. The challenge, of course, is learning to channel it. A mind like yours is a powerful engine, but without direction, it can feel like you are spinning your wheels. You start 100 projects and finish 12. You have notebooks full of ideas that never made it past the first page. You get excited about something on a Monday and bored with it by Wednesday. And you beat yourself up for it, thinking you lack discipline or focus. But that is not the problem. The problem is that you have been trying to operate inside a system that was designed for linear thinkers. And you are not linear. You are exponential. You do not move in straight lines. You move in leaps. And the structures that work for most people will never work for you because they were not built for the way your mind operates. When you find the right framework, one that allows for your speed, your range, your need for novelty, everything clicks. The restlessness becomes fuel. The scattered energy becomes laser focus. And the ideas that used to overwhelm you become the very things that change your life. But there is another side to this that we need to talk about. And it has everything to do with how you relate to the people around you. If what you're hearing feels accurate, imagine what could happen if you applied this energy intentionally for 21 consecutive days. That's exactly what the 21-day program in the pinned comment is built for. Daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you're tired of staying in the same cycle, this is your structure. Tip 3. You think you are too independent, but your self-sufficiency is actually strength. People have called you stubborn for this. They have called you prideful. They have said you push people away, that you refuse help, that you act like you do not need anyone. And you have sat with those words, turned them over in your mind, and wondered if they are right. Because you do value your independence. Fiercely, almost to a fault. You would rather struggle alone than ask for help. You would rather figure it out on your own than let someone see you not knowing. And you have been told over and over that this is a weakness, that it is a sign of fear or pride, or some inability to be vulnerable. But let me ask you something. When you look at the moments in your life when things fell apart, when the ground shifted and the people you counted on disappeared, who was standing? You were. When everyone else folded, when the support systems collapsed, when the safety nets tore, you were the one who found a way. Not because you are unfeeling, not because you do not want connection, but because somewhere deep inside you, there is an engine that refuses to quit. An inner knowing that says, no matter what happens, I will figure this out. That is not pride. That is resilience. And it is one of the most undervalued strengths in the entire zodiac. Your independence is not about shutting people out. It is about knowing who you are when everyone else is gone. It is about having a relationship with yourself that is so solid, so rooted, that you do not crumble when external support vanishes. Most people never develop that. Most people build their entire identity on the people around them, their partner, their family, their social circle. And when those things shift, they fall apart. You do not. Not because you do not care about those relationships. You care deeply. But you also know, on a level that goes beyond logic, that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. And that relationship for you is unshakable. Now, here is where the gift becomes even more powerful. Your independence does not just serve you, it serves everyone around you. Because when you are the person who does not need to be rescued, you become the person who can rescue others. When you are the one who is standing after the storm, you become the shelter. People lean on you precisely because you have learned to stand on your own. And that is not a burden. That is a calling. The challenge is not to become less independent. The challenge is to let people stand beside you without feeling like it threatens who you are. Because it does not. Letting someone in does not make you weaker. It makes the strength you already carry even more effective. And speaking of how you carry yourself around others, the next trait might be the one that has caused you the most confusion in your relationships. Tip 4. You think you are too selective with people, but your high standards are actually protection. You do not have a lot of close friends. You never have. And for most of your life, that bothered you. You watched other people collect friendships like souvenirs, moving effortlessly through social circles, laughing easily, connecting quickly. And you stood on the edge, watching, wondering why it was so hard for you. Why you could not just be easy about it. Why every potential friendship had to pass through some invisible filter you did not even fully understand. Here is what that filter is. It is discernment. And it is one of the most valuable tools you will ever carry. Aquarius does not connect on the surface. You cannot. It is not in your wiring. While other people bond over shared hobbies or mutual acquaintances or simple proximity, you need something deeper. You need authenticity. You need intellectual honesty. You need to feel, on some level you cannot quite name, that the person in front of you is real, that they are not performing, that they are not wearing a mask. And the moment you sense pretense, even a hint of it, something inside you shuts down. It is not judgment. It is protection. Your energy is not unlimited. Despite what the world might think about Aquarius being detached or aloof, the truth is that you feel deeply when you let someone in. You invest. You give. You show up in ways that most people never see because they never made it past your gate. And that gate exists for a reason. It exists because you have learned, probably the hard way, what happens when you give your energy to the wrong people. It drains you, dims you, it pulls you away from the very things that make you who you are. So you became selective, not because you are cold, but because you are wise. The gift here is not just about protection, though. It is about quality. The friendships you do build, the ones that make it past the filter, are extraordinary. They are deep, honest, lasting, and rare. The people who truly know you will tell you that there is no one else like you in their life, that you show up with a loyalty and a depth that caught them off guard, that you are the one they call when everything else fails. And that is because you do not scatter your energy. You focus it. You pour it into the connections that matter, and those connections become unbreakable. Stop apologizing for being selective. Stop trying to have more friends. Start recognizing that the few you have are worth more than 100 surface-level connections. Your standards are not too high. The world just has not met them yet. And the people who do, they are changed by knowing you. Now, this next one is something you have probably never heard anyone explain to you properly. And it has everything to do with why you sometimes feel like you are living in a different timeline than everyone else. Tip 5. You think you are too far ahead of your time, but your foresight is actually vision. You have had this experience more times than you can count. You say something, in a meeting, in a conversation, in a quiet moment with someone you trust, and people look at you like you are speaking a different language. They smile politely, they nod, they change the subject, and then 6 months later, a year later, sometimes 5 years later, the thing you said becomes obvious. It becomes mainstream. It becomes the thing everyone is talking about. And you sit there quietly, remembering the day you said it and the way no one listened. That feeling of being too early, of seeing too far, of carrying ideas that the present is not ready for, is one of the most isolating experiences an Aquarius can have. Because it is not just about ideas. It is about identity. When no one sees what you see, you start to wonder if you are the one who is wrong. If maybe you are delusional. If maybe the world is right and you are just off. But you are not off. You are ahead. And there is a profound difference between being wrong and being early. Aquarius carries the energy of the future. You are wired to perceive patterns, trends, and shifts before they become visible to the majority. Your mind does not live in the present the way most minds do. It lives in what is coming, and that gives you an extraordinary advantage once you learn how to use it. The problem is that for most of your life, you have experienced this foresight as a curse, as a source of frustration, as proof that you do not belong. But it was never a curse. It was always a gift. You just did not have anyone around you who could see far enough ahead to recognize what you were carrying. Think about the visionaries throughout history who were laughed at, dismissed, even punished for seeing what others could not. Every single one of them carried this same energy, the ability to perceive what is coming before anyone else is ready for it. That is not madness. That is vision, and you have it in abundance. The challenge is patience. The challenge is learning to hold your knowing quietly, without needing validation from a world that is still catching up, because they will catch up. They always do. And when they do, you will already be 3 steps ahead, seeing the next thing, carrying the next idea. Your foresight is not a glitch. It is your compass. And the more you learn to trust it, the more accurately it will guide you. But there is another layer to this that most people never talk about. And it connects directly to the way you process information differently from almost everyone around you. Tip 6. You think you are too analytical, but your deep thinking is actually wisdom. People have told you that you overthink, that you analyze things to death, that you take something simple and turn it into a philosophical debate that nobody asked for. And you have laughed about it, maybe even agreed with it. But underneath that laughter, there is a quiet frustration, because you do not choose to think this deeply. It is simply how your mind works. You cannot look at something surface level and just accept it. You have to dig. You have to understand the why behind the what. You have to pull the thread until you reach the core. And even then, you want to know what is underneath the core. This is not overthinking. This is deep thinking. And the difference matters more than you realize. Overthinking is circular, goes nowhere. It loops back on itself and creates anxiety without resolution. Deep thinking is directional. It moves toward understanding. It seeks truth, not comfort. And that is exactly what your mind does. It does not spin in circles. It drills downward. It moves through layers of meaning that most people never even notice exist. And when you finally arrive at your understanding, when you finally see the full picture, you carry a kind of knowing that cannot be shaken. This is wisdom, not the kind that comes from age alone, though age certainly deepens it. This is the kind of wisdom that comes from a mind that refuses to accept the easy answer. A mind that knows instinctively that the surface is never the whole story, and that commitment to depth is what makes Aquarius one of the most intellectually powerful signs in the entire zodiac. You do not just learn things, you understand them. You see how they connect to everything else. You build mental frameworks that allow you to navigate complexity in ways that leave other people stunned. The gift here is not just intellectual, it is practical. Because when you truly understand something, not just know it but understand it, you can explain it to others in ways that change how they see the world. You become a teacher without trying, a guide without a title. People come to you for clarity because your depth allows you to simplify what others cannot. You take the complex and make it accessible. And that ability, that bridge between depth and clarity, is something the world desperately needs. Stop calling yourself an overthinker. You are a deep thinker. And the world needs your depth now more than ever. But before you can fully step into that, there is something else you need to understand about yourself. Something that affects every relationship you have ever had. Tip 7. You think you are too honest, but your directness is actually integrity. You have lost friends because of this. You have lost jobs. You have lost relationships. Not because you were cruel, not because you were tactless, but because you said the thing that everyone else was thinking and nobody else was willing to say. You looked at a situation, saw the truth sitting right there in the middle of it, and you spoke it. Simply, clearly, without decoration. And people did not like it. This has been one of the most painful patterns in your life as an Aquarius. Because you do not say hard things to hurt people. You say them because you believe down to your bones that honesty is the foundation of everything. Without it, relationships are theater. Without it, growth is impossible. Without it, you are just two people performing for each other, and that kind of performance makes your skin crawl. You would rather be alone than be in a relationship built on lies, no matter how comfortable those lies might be. And you know what? That is not a flaw. That is integrity in its purest form. In a world that rewards politeness over truth, that values comfort over growth, that would rather hear a beautiful lie than an uncomfortable reality, you chose honesty. Not because it is easy, it has never been easy, but because you cannot live any other way. Your soul will not allow it. There is something inside you that physically recoils from dishonesty, from pretense, from the kind of social performance that most people accept as normal. And that something is your integrity. It is the part of you that knows without question that the truth, even when it hurts, is always better than the alternative. The people who stay in your life after you tell them the truth, those are your people. Those are the ones who can handle your light at full brightness. Those are the ones who actually grow from knowing you because you give them something that almost nobody else in their life does. Reality. Unfiltered, unpolished, and delivered with a love that most people cannot recognize because it does not look like what they expected. Your love does not coddle. It challenges. It does not protect from the truth. It trusts people enough to give it to them straight. And that kind of love, the kind that says I respect you too much to lie to you, is the rarest kind there is. Stop apologizing for your honesty. The world does not need more people who say the right thing. It needs more people who say the real thing. And that is you. Every time. Without fail. But there is something else about you that makes this honesty even more powerful. And it has to do with a quality most people completely misunderstand. Tip 8. You think you are too emotionally guarded, but your boundaries are actually self-respect. You have been told you have walls. High ones. Thick ones. The kind that make people feel like they are always standing outside, looking in, never quite able to reach you. And you have heard this so many times that you probably believe it. You probably think there is something broken about the way you protect yourself. Something excessive. Something that keeps you from the kind of deep, messy, wide-open love that movies and songs promise is the only real kind. But here is what I need you to hear. Those walls are not walls. They are boundaries. And there is a world of difference between the two. A wall keeps everything out, good and bad, without discrimination. A boundary is selective. It is intentional. It says, this is what I allow into my space and this is what I do not. And your boundaries, Aquarius, are some of the healthiest in the entire zodiac. You just have never been given credit for them because the world confuses vulnerability with openness and openness with emotional availability. But being emotionally available does not mean being emotionally unprotected. It means being available on your terms, with your conditions, in your time. And that is not cold. That is wise. Think about what happens when you do let someone in. Think about how deep that goes, how completely you invest, how much of yourself you give when you have decided that someone is safe enough, real enough, worthy enough to see the parts of you that you keep hidden from the rest of the world. That level of intimacy does not happen without boundaries. It happens because of them. Your boundaries create a container for the deepest kind of connection. They ensure that when you open fully. Not halfway. Not with one foot out the door. But completely, because you have already done the work of making sure the space is safe enough to hold all of you. The people who complain about your walls are usually the people who have not earned access. And that is not your problem. That is their disappointment meeting your discernment. You do not owe anyone entry into your inner world. You do not owe anyone your vulnerability. Those things are sacred and you treat them that way. Not because you are afraid of being hurt, but because you understand better than most that your inner world is the source of everything you create, everything you give, everything you are. And protecting that source is not selfishness. It is self-respect. Your boundaries are a gift. To you and to everyone who eventually makes it past them. Because what lives on the other side of those boundaries is extraordinary. And the people who get to see it know that. They know they are witnessing something rare. Something you do not show to just anyone. And that makes it sacred. Keep your boundaries. Honor them. They are not keeping love out. They are making sure the love that gets in is real. Now this next one might surprise you. Because it is about a quality you have probably never even thought of as unusual. Some people watch. Others transform. If you want to be in the second group, the 21-day guide in the pinned comment gives you a clear step-by-step process aligned with your sign. This isn't about waiting. It's about moving. Tip 9. You think you care too much about humanity and not enough about individuals. But your big picture love is actually compassion on a grand scale. This is one of the most misunderstood things about Aquarius. You genuinely care about people, about fairness, about justice, about the state of the world and the well-being of communities you will never meet. You feel a pull toward humanitarian causes, toward systemic change, toward ideas that could make life better for everyone. And yet, in your personal relationships, you sometimes feel disconnected. Like you can love the whole world but struggle to show up for one person sitting across from you at dinner. And that contradiction haunts you. People have used this against you. They have said you care more about strangers than about the people in your own life. They have called you distant, aloof, more in love with ideas than with human beings. And those words cut deep because there is just enough truth in them to sting. You do find it easier to connect with causes than with individuals. You do feel more comfortable in the realm of ideas than in the messiness of one-on-one emotional intimacy. And you have spent years thinking that was a deficiency. It is not. It is a different kind of love. A broader kind. A kind that most people cannot even comprehend, let alone practice. You love at scale. While most people pour their emotional energy into a small circle of family and friends, you carry the entire human experience in your heart. You feel the suffering of people you have never met. You ache for injustices you will never personally experience. You dream of a world that works for everyone, not just the lucky few. And that capacity, that enormous, expansive, almost overwhelming capacity to care about the collective, is not a weakness. It is a form of compassion that the world is starving for. The people who built movements that changed human history did not do it by being great at dinner conversation. They did it by caring about something bigger than themselves, by holding a vision of what could be and refusing to let go of it, even when it cost them personal relationships, personal comfort, personal peace. That is the energy you carry, not because you chose it, because it chose you. It is woven into the very fabric of who you are as an Aquarius. You are not here to be the perfect partner at a dinner table. You are here to be a voice for the voiceless, a thinker for the thoughtless, a dreamer for those who have forgotten how to dream. Does that mean your personal relationships do not matter? Of course not. They matter deeply, but they matter differently for you than they do for most people. Your challenge is not to become more like everyone else in the way you love. Your challenge is to find people who understand the way you love and who value it for what it is. Vast, far-reaching, sometimes quiet, always there. The right people will not ask you to shrink your heart to fit their expectations. They will stand in awe of how much it holds. And that brings us to something even more personal. A trait that has probably shaped your inner life more than anything else we have talked about so far. Tip 10. You think your need for freedom makes you uncommitted, but your need for space is actually how you stay true to yourself. This is the big one, the one that has probably caused more relationship drama, more misunderstandings, more late-night arguments than any other trait you carry. Your need for freedom, your absolute, non-negotiable requirement for space. The way you can love someone completely and still need to walk away for a while. The way you can be deeply committed and still feel suffocated by too much togetherness. The way you disappear sometimes, not because you are running from something, but because you need room to breathe, to think, to remember who you are outside of the relationship, the job, the expectation, the role. People have interpreted this as a lack of commitment. They have said you have one foot out the door. They have accused you of not being fully present, of always holding something back, of never being truly all in. And every time you heard those words, a part of you wondered if they were right. If maybe your need for space was just a fancy way of saying you were afraid. Afraid of intimacy. Afraid of being known. Afraid of losing yourself in someone else. But that last one is closer to the truth than you might think. Because you are afraid of losing yourself. Not out of selfishness, not out of ego, but because you know with a certainty that lives in your bones, that who you are is the most important thing you carry. Your identity, your uniqueness, your specific way of seeing and being in the world. That is not something you can afford to lose. Not for a relationship, not for a job, not for anyone. And your need for freedom is not about avoiding commitment. It is about preserving the very thing that makes you valuable in the first place. When you lose yourself and you have, at some point in a relationship or a situation that asks too much of you, everything falls apart. Not just the relationship, everything. Your creativity dries up. Your vision clouds. Your energy drops. You become a shadow of yourself, going through motions that feel hollow and performing a version of life that has none of your spark in it. And the reason that happens is because Aquarius does not function without freedom. It is not a luxury for you. It is oxygen. Without it, you cannot think, cannot create, cannot love, cannot be. You shut down. Not dramatically, quietly, slowly, like a light dimming so gradually that no one notices until the room is dark. Your need for space is not a red flag. It is a green light. It is the sign that you are someone who takes your inner world seriously enough to protect it. It is evidence that you understand something most people never learn. That the best version of you, the version that is the most loving, the most creative, the most generous, the most alive, that version only exists when you have room to breathe, when you have time alone with your thoughts, when you have the freedom to be fully, unapologetically yourself without the weight of someone else's expectations pressing down on you. The right people will understand this. They will not just tolerate your need for space. They will respect it. They will see it for what it is, the mechanism by which you keep your fire burning. And they will love you enough to step back and let you flame, because they know that when you come back from that space, and you always come back, you return with more love, more clarity, more energy, and more of yourself to give than you had before you left. Your freedom is not the enemy of your relationships. It is the foundation of them. And now we come to the part that ties all of this together. The part that I hope stays with you long after this is over. You have carried these traits your entire life. The detachment that is really clarity. The restlessness that is really innovation. The independence that is really strength. The selectiveness that is really protection. The foresight that is really vision. The deep thinking that is really wisdom. The honesty that is really integrity. The emotional boundaries that are really self-respect. The big picture love that is really vast compassion. The need for freedom that is really the key to your authenticity. Every single one of these things has been misread, misunderstood, mislabeled. You have been told they are flaws, and you carried that weight without complaining. You adjusted. You tried to be less of yourself so others could be more comfortable. You dimmed your light so it would not blind the people standing next to you. And you did it so quietly, so gracefully, that most people never even knew it was happening. But you knew. And it cost you. It cost you energy, joy, time, and pieces of yourself that you are only now beginning to reclaim. This is your reclamation. This is the moment you stop apologizing for being different and start recognizing that different was always the point. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out. Not loudly, not arrogantly, but clearly. Like a signal fire in the darkness, like a voice of reason in a world that has lost its way, like someone who sees the future and has the courage to walk toward it, even when everyone else is standing still. You are not weird, Aquarius. You are rare, and the world does not need you to be less of who you are. It needs you to be more honest, more visionary, more independent, more selective, more free. Every trait you have been trying to suppress is a trait the world is desperate for. And the moment you stop fighting yourself and start channeling everything you carry with intention and direction, that is the moment everything changes. Not just for you, for everyone you touch, for every life your vision reaches, for every corner of the world that your compassion finds. You were built for this. You were made for exactly this time, this moment, this turning point. And the only question left is whether you are going to keep hiding, or finally, fully, completely let yourself be seen. I think you already know the answer. You have always known. You just needed someone to say it out loud. So here it is. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not too strange, too distant, too ahead of your time. You are exactly what was needed. And the best of what you carry has not even been revealed yet. You have two options after this video. Close it and hope things shift, or decide that the next 21 days will be different. If you choose the second, the structured 21-day transformation aligned with your sign is waiting in the pinned comment. The energy is already moving, the only question is whether you are.